Hi, everybody, and welcome into this episode of Chamber Chat. My name is Bill Vitiello. I am the Director of Institutional Relationships and Marketing at the Victory Bank in Limerick. We have a number of sponsors. We call them our MVPs that we'd either like to bring up now or we will recognize them sometime during the episode. But to start this episode, again, we're into season 5 here. I can't believe it. There we have it. There we have our 2021 mission and vision partners. I'm sure some of you would recognize some names there. We got Tompkins Vis there, Simply PEO, Tim Hillert and his team over there, Hobart's Run making a positive impact on the community. So these are our 2021 MVPs. So thank you once again for your continued support of the Chamber. It's greatly appreciated. So welcome into this episode. And as we're beginning every episode now in season 5, I have Eileen Daltrick. She is the president of the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce. So I'm going to turn it over to Eileen for her segment, which we call the President's Desk.
Thanks,
so Eileen,
Bill.
Take it away.
Hello, everybody. Again, just want to echo Bill's comments to those MVPs, those mission and vision partners. We could not be doing what we're doing without them. They've committed their participation and their support for the next 6 months. We will be going into a strategic plan, so their support will help us keep our work going and really come up with a new vision and a new look for the Chamber starting in July of 2021. So appreciate their support, helping us getting through that strategic planning process. I'm just going to highlight a couple events that we have coming up. We have John Whitehall, who is a Chamber member, and we are looking forward to showcasing him twice in the month of February. On February 9th, he'll be doing a Skill Up session. Those are free to Chamber members, and they're just an opportunity to skill up and just kind of reintroduce yourself to a topic and really kind of brush up on some of the details. So that first one will be productivity and time management, and that'll be again on Tuesday the 9th from 9 to 10:30. And then at the end of the month, on February 24th, we're having John for a membership breakfast, and that is going to be on top leadership blind spots. So hoping a lot of our Chamber membership business owners, CEOs will come out and really kind of focus on those leadership roles and where they might be wanting to make some improvements. So again, that's Wednesday the 24th from 8:30 to 10. And then we also have Maximize Your Membership. So again, everybody, there's so many different things we offer, and there's so many different ways people can take advantage of their membership. This is an opportunity to walk through some of those benefits with me and a small group of people, and we just kind of talk about the different benefits opportunities that are available and how to take the best approach to getting the best out of your membership, depending on why you joined and what type of business you're in, and what you can afford budget-wise and also time-wise. So that'll be on Thursday, February 18th from 9 to 10 a.m. Just want to thank our guest who will be joining Bill momentarily. Again, we love having this opportunity to showcase our Chamber members, and I think everyone will enjoy today's show with Brian.
Thanks, Eileen. And just a few things from your comments there. One, I've been to several of John Whitehall's presentations virtually. He's fantastic, 2 specifically over this course of this pandemic. But I know him personally, and he's very knowledgeable. He encourages group participation, so there's an opportunity to really kind of workshop what you're learning there. So that's a great thing. Second of all, with that Chamber
feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. With that Chamber membership, maximizing your Chamber membership, Chamber Chat is a part of that. Mm-hmm. And guess how much that costs you to be on Chamber Chat?
$0.
$0. So we welcome the opportunity to interview you as a guest and your business. We want to hear your backstory. We want to hear what you're doing for the community and hopefully get you some additional exposure. And then third, I'm pretty impressed with myself. I actually got your title right this time as president.
You did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to comment, again, just even the Chamber Chat side of things, we've been trying to really promote people, even going and watching past episodes on YouTube. Just because, again, an organization like ours, everybody wants to say you join for networking, but it's really relationship building and finding out more about these companies and who they are and what they do and the culture behind their companies is really, I think, important to building those business relationships. And that's really what we want people to focus on. So again, let us hear your story so we can help make stronger connections with you between the businesses and the membership, but also the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And Drew will put that contact information down in the show notes, but you can reach out to us at podcast@tricountyareachamber.com. So,
Right.
yeah. Thanks, Eileen.
Great. Thanks, Bill.
Are you signing off from the president's desk?
I am.
All right.
Have a great afternoon.
We'll see you later. Have a great afternoon. Thank you. And with that, we'll bring in our next guest. He has been on the podcast before, but I don't think Chamber Chat, but still, we need to talk to him because now is a great time for folks who want to assess where they are business-wise from their IT perspective. Again, this is going to be an opportunity for us to talk to a subject matter expert, somebody who's been in business for a number of years. And I'm welcoming to the show Brian Pickell. Brian is from KPInterface. So, Brian, welcome to Chamber Chat Live. How are you?
Thank you, Bill. Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. It's great to have you on. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to get probably right into this because,
Sure.
Prior to this, you had sent kind of an outline of what you wanted to talk about. And I was pretty impressed by the length of this document because, and just had me reflecting for a moment because I'm like, I don't know how many businesses are really looking at this from an IT perspective in this depth that you have this in. And, this isn't meant to be, a 45-minute presentation or a full assessment of somebody's, but I think it's definitely going to give some talking points, in people who are assessing IT. So if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and KPInterface, and then we'll kind of get into everything.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I'm Brian Pickell. I'm the CEO and founder of KPInterface. We are considered a managed service provider of technology, which basically means we are an outsourced provider to small and mid-sized businesses who need IT help. Our passion at KPI is to power technology to empower business success. We provide thoughtful solutions for today's complex needs. We have a proven process of IT success that really enables us to produce a great experience for our clients. And it's all about really a partnership we develop with our clients. It's built on trust that delivers to them efficiency, security, and ultimately peace of mind.
Yeah. You're spot on there because I think, as you just you go through business, right? And there's so many different things you have to focus on. IT might not necessarily be one of them until you realize that you need IT. So I know in part of your presentation here or your talking points is, being able to scale and make it scalable. So let's start with IT strategic planning and management. You have a very interesting few sentences here about things that are often overlooked. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, the way I see it, I'm a business owner like everybody else. I happen to work in the IT space. But we all know that I would say the most businesses I encounter do some financial planning. They do a budgeting planning. I would expect most businesses do sales planning as well because that's the engine that drives the business. It drives growth. Unfortunately, though, amongst small to mid-sized businesses, what I find is that IT planning is often overlooked. Now, if you go back 10, 15 years ago or longer, maybe, IT wasn't as big a part as it is today. But today, IT is essential. It's necessary. It's more than that. It's actually driving businesses now. People, especially with COVID, they found new ways to do things that they didn't do before. And it's Teams and Zoom, yeah, but it's also using business process automation. It's using technology really as a competitive advantage to their business. So the question, though, I have for a lot of small or the reality I find is that a lot of businesses just don't take the time to sit down and do IT planning. Now, part of that is probably because they're not experts in it. But it's important to have a great partner or somebody in your company who can take that on. So that's something that we do at KPI. Usually it's not until disaster strikes with, loss of data, a security breach, some sort of downtime that people say, wait a minute, how do we get to this point? Maybe we should stop and really start thinking about IT more strategically. And oftentimes we get called at that point too, from prospects, because they're just not happy with where things are.
Yeah, and like you said too, most folks aren't subject matter experts on IT, right?
Right, they're not. I mean, no, they're not.
Yeah,
Just
and
as I'm not, I'm not in accounting, but I do my accounting planning, and I'm not in other areas, but you have experts to reach out to.
right. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's talk about business objectives for technology. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, so I really think IT and technology should really be at the service of the business, right? So, and it should be considered as a tool, as something you can leverage to help, again, drive new business, deliver business in a way you want to deliver it, show some reporting and business intelligence into what you do. But so, really, the first question is you've got to begin with the end in mind. I love the Stephen Covey 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. That's one of my favorites. Is let's start with, what do we want from IT? What do we want from technology? How is it going to serve our business? And it's a good exercise. A lot of people might be able to think of some small things at first. Oh yeah, well, we wanted to make sure that our accounting system's up or our CRM system's up. But there's some other things that you find out in talking to people, that there's more to it than that. There's everything from security, which is a hot topic these last couple of years and will remain a hot topic. But that's one aspect. There's performance and productivity for sales, operations, finance, other parts of the business. How can we leverage technology better? I'll give you an example. In our business, we were discussing last week with a provider who does automation in what we consider to be service, like move, add changes in the Microsoft cloud world. So right now, if you want to make a change, you have to go into a cloud manager and do all these different things. But what they're finding is that, look, we have a system where you can make these things automated, and that'll save you time. And it might enable me to not have to hire as many people at first, which, again, is something every business owner, every controller, every CFO is thinking about. How can we do more with less? So productivity is a big part of it. Reliability and uptime are obviously things that people expect, but they're not always there. I would have to be on a call with a client today about some marketing concern I had. And he told me, hey, did you know that your employee, Colin, your tech, was helping me out yesterday? And I said, no, I wasn't aware. I just didn't hear about it. He goes, well, he really pulled us out of a jam. He said, Verizon, I don't know if people know, but Verizon had some major outages yesterday along the East Coast. And while I wasn't permanently affected, I had some issues, like a lot of people did. But their site was down for about 4 or 5 hours. And he said, yeah, we worked with Colin. He showed us how we could forward our phone system to a cell phone so calls would still come through. He showed us a way in which we could use our wireless connectivity to get to the internet, and a way in which we could get to our email using another platform. So that's the kind of thing that clients want and people need from their technology, is how do we, even if things aren't perfect, how do we adjust? How do we move forward? So that's important. Restorability. How do we restore from a disaster? I ask people all the time, I say, do you have good backups? And they'll say, yes, we think we do. I mean, we're told that we do, or I haven't heard otherwise. But as a business owner, especially if you're a smaller business owner, if you're a head of operations or whoever's responsibility it ultimately is, you need to know that not only do you have good backups, but you know that you can properly restore as well. And a lot of people can't say that they have that, or they do any test in that fashion. So all this goes into IT planning, and there's a lot more that can go into it as well. But these are all kinds of things that people need to be thinking about, talking with, discussing with. And it doesn't have to happen, all the time, and it doesn't have to be a 6-hour session. I would think that if you did it a couple-hour session a year, and then you meet about it once a quarter, most companies will be in better shape than they are in today.
Yeah, and I would encourage folks. So if you're a business owner or you're an individual of influence within your organization, and you happen to be watching this, please feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions or comments for Brian. We have him available right now to answer any of those questions. But it would also encourage you to reach out. I mean, you've already, we're not even 15 minutes in, and he's provided amazing value and some amazing thinking points for business owners. So talk to me about, so I guess when you're assessing there, maybe on a quarterly basis, what IT goals and that assessment looks like, please.
Yeah, well, Bill, that's an important part of the whole puzzle. I walk into a lot of prospects over, throughout the year, and one of the first things we'll ask is, "Hey, when was the last time you had an IT assessment? Or do you even have an inventory of everything you have?" And oftentimes the case is, we haven't had an assessment ever, or we haven't had an assessment in years. And really, that's the place you really need to start. You need to take a look at, the way we do it, at least, is we first do a scan of the environment. So we do a scan of everything and capture all the inventory, capture, the standards that the environment is working under, all the details. We do a walkthrough of the environment. So we want to see where things are. We want to see, if, things are properly protected for power, or if you have a server room or a network closet, how are things structured there? Are things clearly labeled, et cetera? Because when you have a disaster, the last thing you want to be doing is guessing as to what's what in a server closet or network closet. So then we also conduct interviews. We conduct interviews with key point of contacts in the organization. It could be somebody from sales, somebody from accounting, executive, et cetera. And we interview them and we talk to them about, how is technology working for you? What systems do you use? Do they work? Are they working well? And a lot of businesses are sometimes surprised that their employees have feedback about how the systems are either working great or not working so great. And sometimes it might just be training that some people need. It could be they need an upgrade or a different system to use. But you do this assessment, and the assessment really does a gap analysis. Okay, so here's our technology today. Based on the conversations, this is where we'd like it to go. So then we provide a set of recommendations and a strategic plan that says, this is how you need to get where you want to go, and this is how we're going to get there. Here's the plan, here's the path. And that, once you have that established, then it is a matter of, it could be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be semi-annually. But the point is that you are at least on a regular rhythm of revisiting those things and saying, okay, did we do the things we meant to do last quarter? Great. Or no, there's still something to do. What's next quarter look like? And really what that provides for the business is a lot of stability. It provides financial insight to potential expenditures. It provides an outlook as to where they will be. And it also provides a way to avoid potentially problematic situations. We were working with a prospect about 4 months ago. We were working with them. We did a kind of a free assessment for them last year. And then they called us out of the blue with a major disaster. They had a major security breach. You're talking about 160 computers who's busy in manufacturing, basically had to shut down for a time until we could remediate the breach. And then we were able to get them on a security plan that put them in a great spot from security and disaster recovery. But, I'm sure that those people would have preferred not to go through that exercise at all. It involved talking to insurance companies, talking to lawyers, talking to all kinds of experts about what to do. You've got a whole nightmare on your hands with potential media relations as well if something like that happens, especially if there's any kind of compromised data, clients, et cetera. So our job, and the job of any IT department or job of any IT firm, is to really ensure that the customer doesn't have to go through that harmful exercise.
So I had one comment and one question. I guess from a comment perspective, it would benefit a business owner to speak to somebody like you and KPInterface to do that assessment, right? I heard you use the word complimentary, and it sounds like you'll go in and do that complimentary assessment for them. Am I correct?
Well, we do sometimes offer complimentary assessments. They're kind of a little bit more high level, kind of just an opportunity for us to give you some, quick lay of the land, some quick pointers about what we see out there. But typically, our assessments are paid for. And what we do, because we're spending typically, we're not going in for a 2 or 3 hour assessment. I
Right.
mean, we go in and we might interview somebody for an hour. So I'll do 5 or 6 interviews, or one of my VCIOs will do 5 or 6 interviews, and then compile all that information. We'll have an engineer go out, do all the scanning, which produces upwards of 20 to 40 reports. We then analyze that as a team, and then we produce our findings and our recommendations, our strategic plan, and a budget, a temporary but preliminary budget for them to know what does the next 3 years look like. And that's a paid engagement typically. So yes, there's sometimes we'll go in and we'll offer, sometimes to chamber members or so others will do a complimentary IT health check or something to at least give them an idea of where they might stand. And then if they want to engage us in something more in depth, we can do that.
Yeah, and that's great of you to offer. And I guess my other question would be, if I'm a business owner, I see value in what you could potentially bring to my organization, but it's not something I want to commit to from a budget perspective. What does that conversation sound like, and what would you say to that business owner when you're sitting at the table and they say, you know what, we appreciate what you've done, but it's just not in our budget right now?
Yeah. So if you're talking about the assessment itself, then you have to walk them through the exercise of really usually what happens is I ask them a few questions about what they know about their own technology, what they know about their own cybersecurity, what they know about their own disaster recovery and backup strategy. And that usually leads them to realize that they need to invest in something and to have a professional evaluation done. We don't charge an enormous amount for that. We actually use kind of a discounted rate, because typically what happens is we are looking to then provide other services after that, right? So it's really just to cover our time to go in and do a complete professional evaluation. But it's not for everybody, but it also is a good gauge for us to understand how serious they are about their technology. So yeah, we'll come in and do a free consultation, a free assessment, kind of minor assessment. But if they want us to look under the hood and really get into the nuts and bolts of what they have and what they don't have and how they might be at risk, then that's something we'll do. One thing that we do in part of our scans is we'll scan their network for any potential personal or data that they might have, credit cards, social security numbers, and we find those things. Because some companies keep those things in Excel spreadsheets. And the problem with that, of course, is that that means that can be compromised through a security breach, and that puts them at great risk. So, I mean, I would find that it's probably worth it if they haven't had an assessment done for a while or have never had one done. At least get the first one done, and then you'll find savings on the back end from preventing future disasters or leveraging the technology you currently have in a better way that will help your business. Maybe it'll make your sales better. Maybe it'll make business reporting better. One thing that we've been able to do at KPI is use reporting to help us to make really smart decisions, whether it be operationally, financially, sales. We use that reporting every.
It's like we might have lost Brian's signal there. Brian, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not, but your signal froze.
Day.
We're getting him back there. Are you back, Brian? I can't hear you though, unfortunately. Can't hear Brian. So what, again, I think when Brian's going through his presentation there is just the importance of having that IT assessment. And, there's a lot that's going on with the pandemic. There's a lot that goes on with normal business operations. And it's really, really difficult, to take the time to do that IT assessment. And again, have the subject matter experts in there who are really going to understand and really know what you need from an IT perspective. So, Brian, I don't know, you can still hear me. Can I hear you or no?
Yeah, you can hear me now, right?
Okay. Yeah, I got you back. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we have a few minutes left, so go ahead, continue, please.
Yeah, sorry about that. So all I was basically saying is that the assessment and the planning can really save people money in the long run, and it can really prevent future expenditures that you wouldn't expect, you might have, that you're not expecting in the future. So the other thing that comes up a lot, Bill, is compliance. A lot of people are facing more and more compliance needs. Sometimes it's hard and fast, like HIPAA requirements for healthcare providers, and other times it's for it could be pharmaceutical industry, it could be those people in the manufacturing industry who have NIST compliance. People who are doing work in Europe have GDPR compliance. So again, sometimes we get called out of the blue saying, hey, we need to get GDPR compliant for this proposal we're trying to finish tomorrow or next week. And really, again, if you're doing proper IT planning, you can schedule those things out. You can make sure that you're prepared as a business to meet all those needs that you might have in the future. So that's something else that's important. And then finally, really on the planning part, it's just part of it, but then has to come the execution and ongoing management of the strategic plan. And that's another thing, that you need to have somebody you can trust, somebody you can rely on to make sure that that's being done on a regular basis.
That's great. And we appreciate you going through all those points. And I have to tell you, if that little glitch is any representation of how quick you can fix something.
Well, you know what I did? I'll be honest with you. What I did was, I'm on a headset because it was recommended, get a headset, connected. So I was on that. I don't know what happened, but I quickly switched to my camera microphone and my other speaker so I could at least get back engaged, and I got my headset back and running. So
look at that.
Yeah, and I'm the worst tech at KPI. So
well, I can't wait to see what the other ones do then.
They're pretty sharp guys.
Yeah, that's great. So, Brian, I know we have your website up there right now, but how else can folks get in touch with you, please?
Well, we can be reached at 610-994-9800. That's our main phone number. KPInterface.com is our web address. We're going to be doing a new website in the next month, so we're looking forward to that. Of course, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're everywhere on social media, and we're right there in Limerick, off the Limerick exit, on Lewis Road. If you want to stop by, feel free anytime.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today. And if you wouldn't mind holding on for just a moment.
Sure.
Normally, folks, during the Chamber Chat Live, this is where I will give my networking tip. I've been missing them, to be quite honest with you, the last few episodes. But instead of giving a networking tip, I wanted to give a local eatery a shout out. And this story goes back a ways, because as Pottstown has gotten revitalized, there's a number of restaurants that my wife and I have had on the list to try. And I would say probably about 6 weeks ago, again, we had our reservations because I'm thinking to myself, am I really going to be able to find a decent cheesesteak in Pottstown? And we went to Jim and Sue's High Street Steaks over there in the terminal market. And we were impressed. We were really impressed. The food tasted good. It was great service. So fast forward to 6 weeks later, or last week in this case, and I said to my wife, I was like, you want to try it again? You think it's as good as last time? So sure enough, my wife pulled up the order on the mobile phone, and the existing order popped up. We placed the order. It was ready before I got there. And then upon my arrival, was really greeted with some wonderful folks. They had no idea who I was. I was just an average customer to them. Not that I'm any big celebrity or anything like that, but I have a voice here on Chamber Chat, and they were extremely kind and gracious, and their food is fantastic. It really is. The shaved ribeye for the cheesesteak is just phenomenal. So if you haven't been to Jim and Sue's High Street Steaks, they are Chamber members. If you have not been there, I highly recommend it. It was a really, really great experience 2 times now. So I'm anxious to go back a 3rd time again. So, Brian, thank you once again for being on Chamber Chat Live here. Once again, I'm a Pottstown celebrity. Please, Drew. Once again, my name is Bill Vitiello. I am the Director of Institutional Relationships and Marketing for the Victory Bank in Limerick. And until we connect again, all my best, and bye for now.
Thanks, Bill. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in. Please like, turn on notifications, subscribe, or share. Want to be a guest? Email podcast@tricountyareachamber.com.